Mark Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Quixote and Lewis. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to another episode of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, episode 74. I'm your boy Quixote, back from a hiatus. The fellas held it down. I'm joined by none other than the other co-host on the docket, Joel. We've been at this for about an hour now. We're
trying, man. We're trying to get y'all a nice holiday episode.
Trying to get y'all a holiday episode on this Thanksgiving Eve.
Hopefully y'all thankful for this one.
But we're trying, yo. We're trying. Listen, we're back here. Lewis is on assignment. He's with the family for this Thanksgiving, and we'll see him on the next episode or so. But Joel, we here tonight. We want to tell you probably won't see this episode till probably after Friday. But we are Survivor Series week.
Yeah.
Saturday, Vancouver. War Games. We got War Games coming up. 5 matches on the docket, man. I think this is WWE's new gimmick. They're giving people 5 matches. And sometimes it's not 5 of the best matches. It's 5 of the matches that have the best stories at the moment. Which essentially also makes sense. But one story that's capturing everybody's attention, Joel. One story that we got to talk about on this card for Survivor Series, the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Damian Priest, who's probably cutting some of the best promos he's ever done in his career. He's way over with the crowd. Gunther, big time. To me, he's brought major prestige to that heavyweight championship, and also going for the sympathy babyface kind of thing going on. He's definitely turning.
Yeah.
Joel, where is this going? Who goes over? What is happening in this match? Gunther versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series.
Yeah, man. Like you said, this has quietly crept up as like one of the matches we're all looking forward to, right? Yeah. I think Damian Priest is stepping into his own, and he's really becoming the Damian Priest that I think they saw in him when they gave him that belt originally.
Yeah.
He stepped into it. You could tell he's comfortable on the mic. You could tell he's comfortable as a character. He's left the Judgment Day behind, and he stepped into his own, and it's really cool to see his growth for sure over the last year or two. I think I'm gonna predict Gunther's gonna win this one, just because I don't see them doing a big title change on this show, just because we have so much other stuff going down on this show when it comes to like the men's War Games and the women's War Games. I feel like it would get overshadowed a little bit, so I don't see this happening now, but I could see Damian Priest getting that belt back soon. Maybe if they do another rematch, because this would technically be their second match for the world title.
This would be their second.
Yeah, so maybe they'll do a third rubber match down the road, and that's when Damian Priest might get that title back. I mean, honestly, it's pretty cool to going into this match and kind of not knowing who might win it. It seems like it is up in the air, honestly, which is really cool.
Yeah, and like I was saying, man, because both guys are going for, like I said, that they're, Damian is getting the crowd cheers that we thought he was going to get when he was champion.
Yeah,
and now he's getting them because people, those I'm telling you, those when you cut a good promo, that is just, it shows your personality. It's emotionally driven. The crowd's going to get with you. Yeah. And then Gunther's already he came from like a mega heel to now people loved him as a heel. He was killing matches and killing people in the ring. And now he's going for like this he's turning, and he's even turning against Ludwig Kaiser a little bit. And people are digging it. And you got 2 guys who you are kind of rooting for. You're kind of like, I don't mind either one winning. Yeah. But I do agree with you, Joe. I think Gunther goes over. I don't think this is for Damian to recapture the title. I think this is kind of being used for Damian to be seen as a top contender, a real baby face top contender, and to get those crowd cheers and those chants and that love that he thought he was going to get before, but now he's going to get it now. Yeah. That match should be pretty good in my estimation. I'm going to go which it should be pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, all the other matches, they sound cool, right? You got the United States Championship, LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura, who I must have missed that SmackDown. I had no idea he was back. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was really quick. Really quick build to this match. Shinsuke attacked LA Knight after I forgot which match.
Exactly.
But he attacked him after one of these matches, and then basically they were like, "Well, yeah, here we go, Survivor Series War Game." Shinsuke got a title shot somehow. I guess you just gotta attack somebody, and that's all you gotta do. But yeah.
And then you got the Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser triple threat match, which I do like.
Yeah, that should be a banger for sure.
I'm thinking Braun. Obvious. I mean,
yeah,
Ludwig would be interesting, but I'm sticking with Braun on this. I think Ludwig he's got to get some more wins under his belt.
For sure.
But Braun Breaker for sure. I mean, the guy is just amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Braun with that one as well. I do think that might be a showcase match for Ludwig.
Yes.
I see that being like a coming out party almost for him. He's been quietly really good in the ring, and I think he's gaining a new sense of character a little bit as well with the Gunther turn to babyface. It seems like Ludwig is like a little bit like, what are you doing, Gunther? So maybe he might break out of under Gunther's shadow real quick, and then maybe we'll see those two feud in the future, which would be pretty cool.
Listen, man, I'm good. I'm really I think, like you said, that match is going to be one of those showcase matches for Ludwig. At least we hope. I mean, I don't want to see Ludwig getting his ass kicked through the entire match. I mean, because he's better than that, and
sure.
It's time to start pushing him like that. I mean, he can't keep losing like that.
Yeah.
But now the women's War Games match: Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Naomi, and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae. I think this might be. I think it's going to be pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's going to be. Everyone's going to get their moment to shine. It's going to be a little spotty at first. But I like the mix of women in this match because, especially one name, Candice LeRae, who if you really had to think about it, she could have easily been let go and you would have never heard about it. And you would have never even known, right? Like she could have been one of those people. But they're given, and to me, this is the push, the last push. I think this is the push of pushes for Candice. I think Candice needs to show up, show out, and do her thing in this match. But I think it's going to be pretty entertaining, man. What do you think?
Nah, yeah, I definitely agree. Like Candice LeRae is definitely the most interesting name in that list of names you listed. For sure. I think Candice LeRae also has a history of hardcore matches on the indies. So I think she's gonna quietly be one of the chief people in this match to start probably pulling out some cool spots that we haven't seen before. We also have Bayley in there, who has a pretty good history of cage matches and Hell in a Cell matches. She had that good match with Mercedes back in the day in a Hell in a Cell, I believe. And I think this match quietly might be even better than the men's War Games match, just because I think the men's War Games is going to rely a lot on story. It won't be as much about the in-ring action. And I could see the woman going out there and trying to prove a point like, yo, we're just as good. And we also have the fun story of who attacked Jade Cargill going into this, and maybe we'll see if that shows if we see who did it on this pay-per-view, or if they keep dragging that out a little longer. But it is interesting to see if all the women on the babyface side are going to be trusting each other. So we have a fun little story going in there too. So I think this might be my match of the night.
Match of the night.
Yeah.
Okay. Now listen. Now we got to go. I think this may. I might agree with you on that. This might be match of the night if the whole Damian Priest Gunther doesn't really meet up to standards. This could be my match of the night. And speaking of Jade, I believe has suffered a real injury. And people are saying she's going to be out. So for some significant...
the way they put her on TV, bro, she looked like the way they had her laid out on top of the car.
Yeah, I mean, homegirl must be really injured,
bro. Yeah, she looked like
I don't know what happened. I don't know what match it was. I don't know how she got injured. I don't know
Interesting.
any information, but people are like, it's significant time. So I wonder how they're going to pivot from that tag team title that she's holding with
That's true.
Bianca. Because if you think about it, and someone made a very good point on another podcast that I was listening to, I think it was Cheap Heat.
Yeah.
Give
Shout out
us
to
a shout out to Cheap Heat. They were like, listen, we can't have 3 different women tournaments going on: a tag team, a US, and an
That's true,
Intercontinental.
man.
We cannot.
That's true.
So there's got to be a way to pivot from this in some way, and this might also delay a Bianca and Jade story to lead to WrestleMania. They're saying it's a whole big mess. So we wish Jade's speedy recovery,
Oh,
get
for
back
sure.
healthy, get back in that ring, and do your thing. But until then, we see what we got. Now the big one, Joel, the big one, the men's War Games match.
Yeah, man.
Reigns, Zayn, the Usos, and CM Punk
Crazy.
versus Solo, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga Loa, and Big Bronson Reed, who's high on my list of guys to shine in 2025.
Oh, for sure.
Where in the hell is this going? Like you said, I think it's going to be storyline driven.
Yeah.
So it might not be the most exciting match, but the emotions, the acting, the interaction, I think that's where this match may go on top on. But where's this going, man? What do you think?
I mean, the cool thing about this whole story, right, is the way it's intertwining within so many different storylines now. Like, yeah, the bloodline obviously is the main story that is basically running WWE right now, but the addition of CM Punk with Paul Heyman's relationship.
Yeah, Paul Heyman's back.
Yeah, we got Paul Heyman back on Friday. He brings out CM Punk. Great surprise. I wasn't expecting Punk. I mean, I thought it would be either Punk or maybe a returning Brock Lesnar, but I don't think we're ready for that yet.
Right. Yeah.
So it was good to see Punk. It makes sense from a Paul Heyman standpoint. It's pretty cool to see Punk and Reigns in the ring, for the first time since 10 years ago, or whatever it was. So that's cool to see. I'm sure there's going to be something coming out of that as well. And then we have Sami Zayn in there with the bloodline once again. And I'm sure Kevin Owens is not going to like that either, So I'm sure there's something going to come out of that as well. So like I said earlier, I think this is going to be a very storyline heavy match. But these guys that are in this match, especially on the bloodline, or they're both bloodlines. So on the OG bloodline side,
the OG.
There are a bunch of guys that know less is more, right? Like Reigns, Punk, the Usos, even Zayn. They all have understood the assignment when it comes to professional wrestling, and they understand
100%.
Exactly what it means to do as much as you can without hurting your body as much as you have to. So I don't expect any huge spots. I could see Jacob Fatu doing some crazy shit because it's Jacob Fatu, so he's gonna do something crazy. And I do see a big showcase for Bronson Reed as well, because like you said, I think he's going to be a big breakout star in the next year or two as well. And I think this match might propel him into that world heavyweight picture for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know where it's going, man. Honestly, I can't even predict. I have no idea who might win this one.
You think The Rock comes out?
Yeah, do we get The Rock? Like, The Rock. The only thing that makes me not think The Rock is showing up is because it's in Vancouver and the show is like at 6 p.m. or something like that in the East Coast.
Right.
So I'm like, is The Rock going to show up? Or like, The Rock is big time. He's main event. You don't want to come out at 6 p.m. Eastern time. He ain't coming out. There's not enough eyes watching at that time.
Not enough. And you're right. So and he's got a bunch of Moana stuff going on.
It would be interesting to see him show up.
It'd be interesting, but I don't want him don't do that, Rock. Don't show up to Vancouver.
No gang signs.
Nah. Don't show up to Vancouver doing that. All right. I need to see some significant story progression here.
Yeah.
Like, where are we going with you? And again, like you mentioned, Bronson Reed, high on my list. I mean, he's a guy that is gonna. I mean, he's shining now, in my opinion. But I think he's just skimming the surface of what plans they may have for him and what he's capable of doing. But that's your War Games Survivor Series in a nutshell. And you know what, Joe? I'm gonna be honest. Survivor Series has become my least favorite PLE
I
of
do
all
miss.
the majors, even some of the non-majors.
Yeah,
It's like my least favorite.
it's
There's no
yeah.
allure anymore. I don't know.
It's gotten to the point where I would say Money in the Bank is more important than Survivor Series,
I
right?
enjoy Money in the Bank more, which
Yeah,
is
because I
crazy,
think
right?
it used to be the big four, which was Rumble, SummerSlam, Mania, Survivor Series.
Yes.
Now it seems like that Survivor Series spot has gotten replaced by Money in the Bank for sure, because it just
Yeah.
has way more implications. You know, whoever wins that briefcase holds it for a year
Hmm.
on both the men and women's side. So there's not many stakes. Even with the War Games matches this year, like there's not like it's not like I mean I get they haven't even really explained what happens if Roman wins. Does he get the Ulafala back, or is it just like I want to kick your ass type? Right?
Yeah. I think it's just one of those. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna beat you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's
I just
not
want
much stakes going on here, so I could see that. I do miss the traditional Survivor Series matches, man.
I
Like,
do,
I
man.
love the War Games. War Games is cool, but man, that there's nothing like that 5-on-5, 4-on-4.
Hmm.
Let's team up. Let's find. I need to find four teammates. You know,
Yeah.
the big baby face trying to look for teammates while the heels
Yep.
trying to look for teammates. It was just like cool to have the leading up to that point. And I definitely miss those. I hope we get to see those once again. I mean, for a while they were relying on Raw versus SmackDown for so long, and that never
Yeah.
worked because nobody
Never
really
worked.
cared about brand loyalty. Like,
No.
like,
Brand loyal.
we're just gonna wear the same color T-shirt and pretend we like each other now. All of a sudden, like it made no sense.
No sense. No
So
sense.
maybe that's why they were like, we don't know how to book this anymore. Because back in
Mhm.
the day, it was a little easier because you could just do like Team Hogan versus Team Roddy Piper, you know, like,
Right.
and people are gonna cheer whoever's on Hogan's team because he's just the biggest baby face, right? So it was a little easier back in the day, and that might be why they just decided to move over to the War Games. But I hope eventually we do get that traditional Survivor Series match, even if it's just like mid carders. And like it doesn't have to be all the main event players in there, but like just having that, I feel like you get those opportunities to have those like shiny moments. Like I remember Dolph Ziggler being the lone survivor one year, and like just getting a really big push after that. I remember Keith Lee having a really good showing in one of the matches. Roman Reigns had a lone survivor as well one time. So like things like that is definitely missed. And I can see why you're like, yeah, Survivor Series is it's not. I mean, even like Bad Blood or whatever, it seems more important, you know. So
Yeah, we'll see, man. Again, it's just not one of my, like even the card is not super exciting for me. Like I'm literally looking forward to maybe 3 of the matches.
I'm surprised that we're not getting Cody KO.
No Cody.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen.
They announced Cody and KO for Saturday night's main event.
Yes.
So I'm shocked Cody's not even on this card though. He's not doing anything.
That is interesting.
Which is interesting. And again, see, this goes back. Cody's just been lukewarm. Not even like he's been like room temperature. Like like you know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing exciting about Cody.
Yeah,
there's nothing intriguing. He's got no story the KO thing is I mean, to me, this is some of the best KO stuff I've seen him do on the heel side. Because it's actually, he's doing pile drivers. They're allowing him to do stuff that's like really egregious stuff, right? But the Cody I like Cody. He's just not moving the needle for me. He's just not moving it. Just not doing it.
I have to agree with you, man. And I'm starting the prayer circle right now, man. I want KO. I want KO to win that belt. I think KO needs to win that belt. It's gonna make Cody more interesting.
Yes.
It'll make KO more interesting. It'll make the story more interesting. Even if Cody wins it back, literally the next SmackDown, I don't care. Just have him have to fight back from something. Because right now he seems like he's veering down that John Cena path. And we don't want that. We don't want that.
Not yet. That for Cody.
Not yet.
We don't want not yet.
Eventually,
it's too soon.
Yeah, eventually, if he wants to go down that path of like never turning heel and being heel to the smarks, but a babyface to the kids, I think we could see that happening with Cody down the line if he wants to go down that path. But right now, man, we need to give him something to chase. We need to give him something to do because right now he seems like he's just, lukewarm, like you said.
Lukewarm, man.
Very lukewarm.
Oh man, he's like bath water, just sitting there, like just not even hot. You get in, you're like, it's all right. But yeah, enough about Survivor Series. Survivor Series is this Saturday, Vancouver. Survivor Series War Games, y'all, on Peacock. Major PLE happening on this Thanksgiving weekend. Let's get into the aftermath of AEW's marathon pay-per-view called Full Gear. Let's get into it. So I don't want to go over every match because it's some of the matches just didn't even matter. But I do want to get it. I want to hit probably match of the night. Would you say Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher? Major kudos to those two for putting on a damn good match. Damn good match. Definitely match of the night for sure. Kyle, to me, is a star. He checks all the boxes. And plus, your boy is getting better on the mic. Every single week he's on, he's getting better and better and better. Dude, what did you think of this match? I know you loved it.
You know I loved it.
Yeah, I know you loved
it. This was incredible. I want to give Don Callis his flowers, man.
You want to give Don Callis flowers?
Yes. He does not get exactly. Let's give it up. He quietly has been involved in one of the best ongoing storylines that AEW has been telling for a long time. And it hasn't even been, it's spanning all the way to New Japan at this point. But the transition of being the Kenny Omega guy, he was Kenny Omega's like father figure.
Yeah.
Betrayed him for Will Ospreay. Then he became Will Ospreay's father figure, basically. Betrayed Will Ospreay for Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita now. And you can see like he's a freaking carny, right? That's his whole He's like, I'm just gonna hitch my back to these great wrestlers. I'm gonna ride their coattails as long as I could, and as soon as I see someone who might be better than them, I'm jumping onto them. and quiet, he plays the character so well. He is incredible every time he's on commentary, putting over his wrestlers. I don't know if he has a backstage role, but honestly, Tony Khan should definitely give him a backstage role because he obviously understands the business. Every time you always think that Don Callis's stuff is not going to get like over or anything, but every single time he's out, you hear the F Don Callis chants. And it's not go away heat, it's actual heat. Like people just don't like him as a character. His villainous is great. So I just wanted to give Don Callis his flowers real quick before I started praising this amazing match. The match was amazing. The match was incredible. Kyle Fletcher, that solidified him as a star right there. I love that he got the victory. I was worried that Ospreay was going to get like a roll-up victory at the end or something, but nah, it was just a dominant win. Fletcher, great match from both guys. You got to give it up to Ospreay as well. That the pile driver off the apron onto the steel steps, that is a crazy spot. I can't believe they even tried that. The margin for error on that is scary as hell. But props to those guys. If I was to trust anybody to do it, it would be those two guys, because obviously the athleticism is there, the chemistry is there. It was a great match overall. I hope they really continue to like put the rocket on Kyle Fletcher, man. I don't know. They started the Continental Classic. He's part of the tournament. Maybe he wins it. That'd be great. But I think he needs to be in that main event picture as soon as possible, because he obviously has it all, man. He has the build. He has the look. Like you said, his promos have gotten better. He's only 25 years old too. Which
That's
is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like he quietly might be the top prospect in wrestling right now when you really think about it.
That's a hot take
when it comes to age and everything. And I mean, I'll say top male prospect because, there's a whole bunch of great women in NXT. So
that's a hot take. And I agree with you. I think you strap the rocket to his back and let him just ride.
Man,
let him just do his thing. Let him cook, let him do his thing. But yeah, by far, probably top match of the night for sure.
Yeah, I do want to give props as well to Mercedes and Statlander. I think that was my second favorite match of the night. They killed it. Killed it. I think
her best match by far.
Yeah, her best match by far. I think Mercedes kind of quieted a lot of the critics out there with that match. She works really good when she's facing someone who's bigger than her, and it's weird because she is a heel, so like she has to play like the smaller heel, but like when she's in that ring against someone like Stat who could like ragdoll her and just kind of control the match from a physical stance the whole time, you could just see Mercedes shining. Like she's really good at that. So props to her. I think I'm excited to see what happens with her and Camille going forward after Dynamite this week. I'm guessing that'll probably be the next match for Mercedes, and that's gonna just like Statlander is gonna be another one of those powerhouse versus Mercedes match, and I think that's a smart move, man. Keep booking her in those type of matches, because like her versus Britt Baker might be the money match, but we saw how it was, and it wasn't the best.
It didn't hit well. No.
It's like styles clash, and it wasn't what we wanted from that, but yeah, quietly, I think that was the second best match of the night, and followed closely by Jay White and Hangman.
Ooh,
I think I really enjoyed that match.
I wasn't even going to mention that match, but you brought it up, and I think that was a good match. And both of these guys they can work. They know how to work together. They get it. They make everything look good. Jay White is. And I didn't know him in his New Japan days. All right, this is new. This Jay White's new to me. I don't know who this guy is, right? Until he came into AEW, and I think the guy is mega talented. He is essentially what Adam Cole should look like and perform like in the ring. Yeah, that is what Adam Cole should do.
Yeah,
right. The only thing he has that Adam Cole has over him is the promo. And that is even becoming leveled. Like that's even becoming like neck and neck. But Adam has a little more emotion. He's just a notch, half a notch above him. But that is essentially what Adam Cole should be. Is that prototype is Jay White. But I enjoyed the match. I thought the match was solid. Another match I thought was good is the Swerve and Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah,
Swerve and Bobby Lashley. This was Swerve's third pay-per-view loss in a row. Third. Oh, wow. Which when the commentator when I think Shivani said it or whatnot or Excalibur said, guys, he's lost three pay-per-view matches in a row.
Yeah. He lost to Danielson, Hangman, and now which is nuts, but I like it because this builds Swerve back into that baby face chasing or defending, himself and his pride and all this stuff against this hurt syndicate, which is these badass dudes dressed in suits beating the hell out of people. Which I'm telling you, right, I'm digging the hell out of this hurt syndicate. Their theme song is so catchy.
We
heard people. It's becoming a chant now too. It's so dope.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Benjamin is wrestling like he's not aged. Lashley still looks fantastic. MVP could still be the man. He's got the cane, the heel cane. He's got the suit. I mean, it is working. I think they need either one more guy, like a young high flyer kind of guy,
Ricochet, man, perfect,
or
fit.
some woman on that team.
Okay,
and now you're working with like a dominant stable that is just business, business. And I like the match because it came down to just Bobby Lashley just beat him. Bobby Lashley beat the hell out of him. Yeah. And I liked that. It was good. It was a really smart booked match. I did enjoy it. I thought that was pretty solid. And then, of course, I mean, we had a title change, with Daniel Garcia becoming the new TNT champion. Which the match was also good. It was good.
Yeah. Shout out Danny, friend of the show, right?
Yeah. Danny Garcia, man. We had some street food with Danny, man. And then it came down to the Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley World Heavyweight Championship. This ended in a chaotic ending. I was losing track of what the hell was happening, but I kind of enjoyed it. I was like, wow, this is okay. This is interesting, right? Yeah. Moxley, of course, beating the hell out of Orange Cassidy. But Orange held his own. I just don't think Orange was for me, I don't think Orange was believable as a guy to defend AEW's honor.
Yeah.
A name came up in another podcast that was very interesting, and the person who could defend AEW's honor, badass, be looked at as dangerous, and is that guy, and that was Eddie Kingston. I was like, oh, that's a good name.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
didn't
that
even
makes
think
sense.
about that.
We got the Moxley history too.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, how did you watching that match?
Mhm.
Did you think it delivered what it needed to for the expansion of this Death Riders or what's happening with Orange and
Yeah.
wearing black? Did you think it succeeded?
Yeah, I think it succeeded in the story they're telling. I as well had, I definitely knew Mox was gonna win. I think everyone knew Mox was gonna win. They did catch me though when Orange Cassidy hit him with the briefcase. For a second, I was like, wait a minute, is he about to win this shit?
Yeah. Well.
But then it was a really good 2.9 count or whatever. But yeah, I mean, definitely the story is interesting because now it seems like they're kind of switching the story a little bit, and I think it's for the better. Like at the end of that match, after the match, we see Hangman, Christian, Jay White all being involved now with that main event title picture, which is cool. I think that's what we're going to see going forward will probably be some combination of those guys and Moxley and the Death Riders. And I think the story they're telling, and quietly Nigel said something on commentary, and he basically said it's going to, I don't know if it was on Full Gear or on Dynamite. He basically said it's going to take more than one man to dethrone Moxley. And I think that's the story they're telling. I think they're telling the story of all these guys having to work together. So you might see a unhinged Hangman having to put his differences aside with Jay White to maybe tag and try to eliminate the Death Riders or something like that. Because I think what they're trying to tell is or what Moxley is trying to do is make everyone step up, right?
Right.
So if it means the whole locker room has to come and step up and take him out, that might mean what it is. He's almost the Thanos of AEW right now.
He is.
So he's waiting for the AEW Avengers to team up and take him out, basically. Right, so I think that's where the story's headed. I think the match itself between OC and Moxley delivered. It wasn't like the best match on the card or anything, but it did what it was meant to do. Orange Cassidy could take a beating just like Darby Allin at this point. Like he's so good at just getting beat up and selling getting beat up. I like that it was the only use of blood in the whole pay-per-view as well. It made it seem more important and Moxley didn't bleed, which is a surprise. So the fact that Orange Cassidy was bleeding and he was the only one bleeding on the whole pay-per-view made it seem like he went through a war, and definitely did. He looked like shit at the end of at the end of the match. I don't know where they were going with, and what they were trying to do with the whole like chemical that Yuta spilled down his throat. I think they're going a little too hard with the attempted murder on AEW television. I think we could cut that back a little bit. Right. You're already suffocating people with bags. Now you're doing poison in there. What's next? Who's gonna pull out the gun?
Exactly. That's the next thing. Yeah.
You can't escalate this too much because people are gonna expect actual murder one day on TV.
And I know this is all Moxley. I know this.
Yeah.
And TK is like, all right, go ahead. Try to do it.
It's putting mat cleaner down Orange Cassidy's throat or something. I don't know where they're gonna go next with that. But it was interesting, and like you said, the chaoticness of the end of the pay-per-view, I thought it was great. I thought it made me want to see what would happen on Dynamite, which is cool. Last week, me and Lewis spoke about what is gonna be the hook. We need a hook. It couldn't just be Mox beating Orange Cassidy clean. We needed that hook to get us to watch the next episode, and I think they succeeded there with Darby crashing into the car. It was so many things happened and it was all in the span of 5 minutes that it was awesome, but at the same time confusing. But that's kind of a good thing. You want to be confused a little bit to be like, wait a minute, where is this going? Who's going to be involved next? So it was a perfect ending to the pay-per-view in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, overall Full Gear was a pretty good show. It was the first pay-per-view from AEW in a long time that I was like, damn, this is dragging.
Right.
And they gotta cut some of these matches, man. I'm sorry, Takeshita Ricochet could have been a Dynamite main
That could have
event.
been Dynamite main event. Yeah.
Even like shout out to Danny Garcia. I'm happy he won. I'm a big fan. But that could have been a bigger spot on a Collision or a Dynamite, and let him be the star of that show instead of kind of getting lost in the middle of this pay-per-view. It was
same thing with the tag team championships.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
4-way.
Yeah, exactly. Another one too. And those two matches, I feel like, especially those two, like you have your young stars going over, Private Party, Danny Garcia. You kind of want to give them that spotlight and not let them get lost in the middle of a pay-per-view. And I feel like that's kind of what ended up happening.
Yeah.
But overall, the show was solid. AEW's pay-per-views always, deliver. So
what you saying that they had 10 matches on that card. You knock out 3 of them, you got a solid traditional 7.
Yeah.
And you're cutting at least an hour from the show, at least an hour. You don't need 10 matches on a card like this. Like it's and I mean, and the one match that we're not even talking about that involved probably AEW's one is their biggest heel stars is MJF and Roderick Strong, which I thought they were not going to go through. I thought they were not going to get that. I thought this was not going to happen. I thought it was going to be like a swerve where all of a sudden Cole gets him somehow. But they actually had a good match. It was a good match.
It was solid.
And MJ, and you know what? And for the first time, I felt MJF was extremely detached from wrestling.
Yep.
If that means anything. Like,
yep.
I felt like when he walked out,
he literally was like walking out.
I felt for the first time that your boy went Hollywood, got the taste of it, and is like, yo, I'm gonna be over there. And when you guys need me, let me know and I'll show up. Like it felt like one of those.
I had the exact same feeling.
It just didn't feel. He didn't feel connected, even though he did his thing in the ring, emotionally and just there with his character, whatnot. It just did not feel like he was connected or in it. Am I tripping?
No, man, I definitely felt the same, and it's funny because, like you said, the match was solid. He did his thing in the ring. He always delivers. MJF, he's a great talent. But I felt the same thing. It definitely felt like he was going through the motions a bit. It might be a result of this angle just being weird and not being the best angle with this whole Adam Cole. It seems like no one knows what they're really doing in this angle. So it might be that, but also I do have to agree with you. Like he might have gotten that Hollywood taste. He realized he could get paid more and not take bumps. Hey, you start thinking about your livelihood. You start thinking about your health, and you're like, you know what? I don't really have to do this too much longer. I might as well just go straight into Hollywood. And he is a talented guy. He's done musicals on AEW television, so we know he could do that. I'm sure he is thinking he's thinking basically what's his retirement plan or what's his way out of the business. And for him to be thinking that already, so young, and I'm 30 yet. I'm sure he got a huge bag from TK too. So he's probably like, I already got paid. I don't gotta do it. Like guaranteed money probably.
Oh
so,
my God.
I don't know,
man. TK's writing these blank checks.
And I remember, I think you brought it up a couple episodes back about Roman Reigns ruining the part-time thing for everybody, right?
Yes.
I think MJF might be inflating his ego a little too much, thinking that he's at that level. Yes. And I'm sorry, there's only one person in this whole industry who is a needle mover, and that is Roman Reigns. And an active wrestler right now in this whole industry, I would say maybe Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Those are probably the two only needle movers in this whole industry. MJF, you're not there. I'm sorry, you're not there. You could be there one day, but right now you gotta. If you want to become one of those wrestling legends, you can't just give up already.
Like I don't want to see you doing video promos and vignettes, and you're not in the arena, and you just had a major pay-per-view match with huge story implications, and you're not even there, and it's not the same. It's not, and like you said, you're not Reigns or even Punk. Like you need to be, and here's the thing: if I'm TK, if I'm Tony Khan, I need you at work on Wednesday. Period. Yeah. Like show up. Like there should. I mean, come on, man. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like I get if he's shooting a movie or whatever, but like you could write it into your contract. I can't shoot on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
and just show up. Even you don't even have to wrestle. Just show up and do promos. Like right now, it's so weird and awkward that Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, The Kingdom, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, all 5 of these guys are literally standing in a ring talking to a screen. And then the screen is a pre-recorded vignette, so it's not even like they're talking, via satellite.
Via
it's not
satellite.
It's not a live feed. They're literally, and then MJF is over here playing the piano, doing all these random things. It's like, dude, you could tell they recorded all of these in one day.
Yep.
And now they're just like splitting them over time because he's like, I don't even think his suit has changed. He's been wearing the same suit in all it's been 6 weeks. He's wearing the same suit.
6 weeks wearing the same suit.
He just hasn't showed up on AEW television at all, which is crazy too, because you would think they just signed this new TV deal. You would think that Max and Warner and all these people want him on TV. I'm sure he was probably a big part of that deal. So it's interesting. Maybe in the new year, once they do move over to Max, maybe we'll start seeing MJF more often. But yeah, right now, man, at this point, like I said in a previous episode, if you can't be there all the time, just don't be there at all. Make us miss you at this point. I'd rather miss you. So when you do get that pop when he comes back, because right now it's like a weird in between where he's there every week, kind of, because his vignettes are there, but he's not really there. And then even when he came out on the pay-per-view, it seemed like it was almost like the crowd was like, disinterested. It wasn't really like it wasn't a boo. It wasn't like a cheer. It was more like, this guy.
We forgot. We almost forgot about you. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, come on, TV. I mean, you got to get your guys on. You got to get your guys on TV if you're paying them all this damn money. Listen, I'm paying you $1 million. I need you on TV at least twice a month, or 3 times a month, and that's including. And listen, and that's including a collision. So that's not a lot, but at least that's something. Like I need you physically here. Like, come on, man. We got to work on that. But the women, which I want to get to, I wanted to get to WWE real quick. Just one quick thing with WWE. We have the introduction of the Intercontinental Championship for women, and I believe, and I said this, that WWE, in my opinion, probably has the deepest, most athletic, talented women in wrestling. Even over AEW. I'm going to put them over AEW. I think WWE did this with the introduction of these 2 U.S. and Intercontinental belts for the women because they're putting all their stock into the women. They're like, listen, we're going to trust you on this. Yeah. They're main eventing the NXT shows.
Every show, damn near.
Their backstage stuff is almost outpacing the men's. They're doing a lot. Yeah. And I'm enjoying it. Gigi Dolan came back. You got Julia. You got Fatal Instinct or whatever this new group is. You got Vacor. Yeah. I mean, there is a lot, and then that's not even the main roster. Yeah. There's a lot of women you can work with, and you can play around with in terms of where you slot them and whatnot. Do you think these 2 belts will be a success for WWE, and will they mean anything?
Yeah, it's weird when me and Lewis spoke about this a little bit last week. It's weird because they're gonna have 5 belts in the women's division on the main roster, right? So it's gonna be the 2 main women's titles, the 2 mid-card women's titles, and then the tag team titles. Yeah. Which puts them almost on par with the men. The men have 2 sets of tag team belts, so they have 1 more, which is good. So I think obviously like you said, the women have been the focal point of WWE for a while now, and they're killing it on all 3 shows at this point. So I think it is a good thing. Obviously, more belts, the merrier, more opportunities. My one concern though is that since we already do have 2 world titles in that division, I wonder if this is a little bit of overkill, and if maybe they could have just done 1 mid-card title to start, and then maybe later down the road introduce a second one to see if after this first one is proven as a success. Because right now it just feels weird because you have do you keep the mid card or whatever of your women's division, do you keep them in that like put that ceiling on them where they are? That's where you're gonna be. Like a Candice LeRae, a Chelsea Green, a
Right.
Mia Yim. Is that their ceiling now? Like U.S. title? Like it kind of makes me feel like, are they thinning out the main division, the main event level of the women? Is it going to be thinner now because they have this mid card belt now? Is it going to just be like one or two, three people that are going for that main title, which has kind of been how it's been recently anyway? Like if you really think about it on the Raw side, it's basically just been Liv and Rhea
Right.
only in that main event when it comes to the women, and nobody else has really challenged Liv for it. It hasn't really been anyone's focal point for the other woman. Like you don't see a Lyra Valkyria being like,
Nope.
I want to be women's champion. She hasn't, like, no one is going after that belt. So I'm wondering if that's why they're doing this. And if it's going to be one of these things where all the main title holders are just holding the belts mania to mania, which is what seems like they're doing nowadays with the men, at least. So that's my one concern. I hope it doesn't become that the women's main title holders are basically just holding those belts all the way to the next mania because they have that one opponent that they're looking forward to, because everybody else is stuck in the mid card. So I am concerned about that, but I think WWE has proven that they know how to book women at this point. They know how to make them the focal point. So I'm sure everything will work out at the end of it, but I just hope that they're understanding that this could also backfire a little bit if they start creating those ceilings for certain women. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be that you're almost like what they used to say in kayfabe to Daniel Bryan. You're a B+ player. This is the title you should be going after. You'll never reach this title, So I do have those concerns, but hopefully they prove me wrong. And honestly, there is like those people that deserve to have a belt that might never ever achieve that world title belt. So it is cool that those women will get the opportunity, like a Candice LeRae or like a Mia Yim or something like that. You might never see them get that world title, but now you might be US or IC champ. That's pretty cool,
That's pretty cool, man. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it and who they crown as the first ever, because that person is essentially going to see. You're going to test it out with them to see if they can make it important, like they did with the World Heavyweight Championship that Seth held first, right?
Yeah.
And kind of put it on the map. And now Gunther, I think, made it really important.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. I'm curious. I'm curious where they go with it. I'm curious who they put it on, because, like you mentioned, essentially you're saying that this is where this person lies for now. And listen, we still got Charlotte coming back. We got Asuka coming back at some point. I believe there might be another person out injured or whatnot that could be coming back, and then
Carmella,
Alexa Bliss. Yeah. So I mean, and then as you move some of the women from NXT to the main roster, you have some of those that can contend.
Yeah,
for
that's
these
true.
mid-cards.
I mean,
there's a ton of women. There's a ton of women.
So many women, and a lot of them, I would say, are ready to move up. I could see. Metaphor has already kind of been playing around in the main roster. It is interesting as well what they're going to do with the tag team division, because I do feel like that's been weak for the women's side. So I do wonder if this might complicate that as well, now that there's going to be all these different belts. But if they could flesh out the tag team division and then at the same time have these mid-card titles, on some credible champions, then yeah, man, I think this is only positive. Like, the more opportunity for the women, the better. And I think it's just a matter of getting used to it, because it's been that way forever with the men. So eventually we'll just be used to it, there being all these titles. But right now it seems a little weird, but I'm sure once they flesh it out and we see, like, okay, yeah, this person is a mid-carder for now, but they might win that world title one day. They'll flesh out the stories and all that. So I have faith in them for sure. But yeah, it is interesting, and the belt looks beautiful. I love both. The white straps on both the US and the Intercontinental. It looks great. I do want to see who they crown first, though. Like, that is because they're going to be in the history books. So
exactly.
They're definitely going to be people that they have faith in. So that should be cool to see who gets those first title reigns on both sides, for sure.
Yeah, man. Listen, we'll see. We'll see what happens. as we get closer to these tournaments. And this weekend again is Survivor Series War Games in Vancouver. It's going to be something else. And then we got things. It's Thanksgiving Eve, so we got Thanksgiving tomorrow. And we can, probably could watch some old school Survivor Series, while we while we got the plate in our feet in our hand or whatnot. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man. Did we hit everything, Joel? Anything else we need to get to?
Yeah, I mean, we brushed on the Continental Classic real quick.
Right.
One thing
Just
I do want to, just started. I do want to shout out Tony Khan for putting Shelton Benjamin in the Continental Classic, because that's going to be incredible. The more Shelton Benjamin matches, the better. Please.
Yeah, big up to Tony Khan for that. Yeah,
I'm gonna say it right now. Actually, big prediction for next year, 2025. Shelton Benjamin is gonna be my MVP of 2025.
Now, when you say that, are you talking holding a title or just being like just on a rampage, going?
Like, he's gonna be the guy I look forward to watching every single show, every single AEW. He hasn't even had a pay-per-view match yet.
No,
like, he's just putting bangers on free TV. So imagine when he gets that pay-per-view shot. Imagine him versus Will Ospreay. Oh my god,
Shelton Will Ospreay.
Imagine him versus Kenny Omega when Kenny Omega comes back. Oh, I can't wait, dude. And Shelton Benjamin, another big thing I'm gonna say right now: best super kick in the game. Better than anyone right now. Everyone else has a crappy ass super kick. His looks like it takes your head off, bro.
Yes, I will give you that. Shelton's looks like he's actually stiffing you. Like he is kicking you in your face. Like that's how it I will give you that. He does have like the best realistic, actually connects super kick. Wow, I didn't even think about best super kick in the game right now.
That's my MVP, early pick.
even over Young Bucks. Over Young Bucks super kick.
Yeah. I mean, the Young Bucks are great with their super kicks as well, but Shelton's is different, man.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
Definitely over the Usos.
Yeah. The Usos,
I had to get some Uso hate out there.
Yeah, and I would join you on that. The Usos, it doesn't do it. It's trash. It's a phantom looking kick. It's just it's weak. There's no connection. They don't even extend their leg out. It's just like this. They bend the leg to kind of like slightly hit you. Like it's come on, man. Come on, guys. We got last thing. I think next week at this New Day celebration, after this past Monday where they tore each other apart, Woods and Kofi they hit below the belt and beyond. I think we get Big E back and he breaks up a fight.
That shit hurt my soul, bro.
I loved every second. I thought it was the greatest thing on
It was
Raw.
great, but I was like, damn, I shouldn't be watching this. It feels like my mom and dad arguing right now, bro. I'm like, no, it can't be. No. Yeah. Honestly, man, shout out to the New Day for making me care, because I honestly, when this story first started, I was like, I don't really care about this. Like, okay, whatever. Are they gonna break up? Are they not? They dragged it for a long time. But man, these promos feel real. They feel like two friends having legit arguments. Like, I don't know if they both got acting classes recently or something, but they are killing it, man. Especially Xavier Woods. Like, Xavier is killing it, bro. I think they both had great points too. So like, you're still on that verge of like, who's actually turning heel? It's pointing more towards Xavier, but I could see Kofi. I could see Kofi. Kofi would be interesting. Yeah, and it would be the more interesting thing. We haven't seen a real Kofi heel run, so that would be cool. I love that they brought up the Brock Lesnar thing too. Like, I didn't think they would do that, but they did. He hit below the belt, like you said, and man, everything they saying is good. And honestly, I'm excited to see what happens next week on Raw, because low key, man, if we get Xavier Woods on some, I don't fuck with any of y'all. He just walks out. I could see him becoming a huge star just off of like. Even it might be mid-card still, whatever, but like, if he becomes like, I don't need you guys, I'm on my own type shit, I think I could see him getting that push that he deserves.
Yeah. Now, does one of them attack Big E?
Oh man, that's gonna hurt.
Is Big E
is he gonna take a bump
in the line of fire? I think he does. I think he gets,
Oh,
I think
man.
Big E takes a hit. I think Big E takes a hit.
What if maybe he takes like a mistaken hit?
A mistaken hit.
Like he goes to break them up and
Yes.
one of them swings and hits Big E, knocks him out or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see something like that. But damn, man, that's gonna hurt, bro.
That's
I feel like this is hurting more than the Shield breakup.
Yeah.
Like
No, this for sure will definitely hit more than the Shield
Yeah.
breakup. Yeah.
Like they've been together 10 years. It's crazy. Like it doesn't even feel like 10 years too. But then when you look at their stats and they've like 14-time tag team champ, whatever the hell they are at now, like these guys have quietly become one of the best stables and factions in WWE history, which is crazy. And for them to hit 10 years is a huge achievement. So even
Massive.
that, and they're making it interesting once again. I mean, it's a little sad when they come out and they get like no reaction anymore.
I know.
I'm like, damn, bro, they don't even get the kids. The kids aren't even clapping anymore.
The kids are
like, we're over this.
Yeah, we're over.
But they quietly have brought back that energy and they're making it interesting again. So yeah, for sure. Shout out to those guys. I can't wait to see what happens on Monday for sure.
Yes, sir. Listen, y'all. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving Eve on the Mark Wrestling Podcast, episode 74. 74, y'all. Look out for more episodes and more content as we bring this to you. And keep watching, keep listening, keep following, keep subscribing, keep all that stuff, y'all. Until next time, peace.
You've been listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling, and email us at onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good stuff, man. Fifth time was a charm, my brother.
That one felt like a marathon, bro. Oh man,
I was afraid. Listen, man. I was hoping to God as we were like 25 minutes in that you wouldn't freeze. Like I was like, come on, man, please keep working me, work with me.
Well, at least now I know it was the camera.
Yeah, that can. Yeah.
So next
that
time
whatever that camera was doing was killing.
I'm tight, bro. This is